Today we are going to begin a brand new topic, folks. Some of you have been telling me I should cover this case, and I just haven't had the time to look into this. Raul Valle and his accusation of committing murder against Jimmy McGarth. You must follow the law. The law says...
Glorious. Is it a lawsuit? Probably. Why not?
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up. It's the Law with Attorney Larry Forman. Folks, today we are going to start talking about Raul Valle. I finally learned how to pronounce it correctly. Raul Valle. He was a student at St. Joseph High School in Connecticut. Jimmy McGarth was a student at another high school, Shelton High School. What started out as a simple house party led to a chaotic, weaponized brawl between high school students. Now, Raul at the time was 19. He is now 22 at the time of the assault. And he not only killed Jimmy McGarth, he also injured 3 other students, Ryan Hines, Thomas Connery, and Faison Teal, in that altercation. Raul was charged with murder of Jimmy McGarth and the lesser charges of first-degree reckless manslaughter and multiple counts of reckless assault. Those were the injuries to the other parties. The jury came back with a verdict in July of 2025, just a few months ago, acquitting him of the murder charge, but completely hung on all the other charges. Now it sounds like, well, Larry, why are you giving away the boat? I wanted to know, shucks, what's going to happen? Well, folks, it's not over. The case is still ongoing. The prosecution is seeking to retry Raul, Mr. Valle. They're seeking to recharge him with the lesser includeds of first-degree reckless manslaughter and multiple counts of reckless assault on the other 3 students. Now, as I've said, it started out as a house party and ended up in a weaponized, bloody brawl right outside when police were eventually called. And we are going to start with Officer Lonnie Blackwell. He is the first witness in this trial. Now, you might ask, Larry, I don't understand. Do I need to subscribe to this channel and like this video and comment below on this channel? Yes, I know. Of course you have to do that. But that's not your real question. Your real question is, but Larry, where are the opening statements? Yeah, exactly. Well, here's something that I have found out in researching this case. Apparently, out of 50 states, I was able to only find 2 jurisdictions, Connecticut, where this case was, and Delaware, the other jurisdiction, that do not permit lawyers to do and give opening statements to the jury before a case begins. Fascinating stuff. Now, I believe we do have closing arguments, and obviously we will get to those in due course. We have plenty of time for that. But I have never in my life have I seen a court where after the judge gives the preliminary jury instructions before the case begins, which we can skip over, they're boring and there's no point in making a separate video of it. This is the meat. And as you all know me, I like to give you the meat. I don't like to waste your time. This is literally the opening statements, right? The opening of the case is the first witness taking the stand, swearing the oath to tell the truth, and off to the races we go. So there's no opening statement, and we are going to listen to the story today on direct, and tomorrow we'll do Mr. Blackwell's cross. Without further ado, let's go. Have you been injured in an accident? Have you been hurt by a doctor? Have you suffered from a dog bite? Have you lost a loved one due to someone else's negligence? Call us, 1-844-774-HURT. Get a trial lawyer to get you the most money you deserve.
Good morning, Mr. Blackwell. Good morning.
This is the prosecutor asking questions on direct examination of Officer Blackwell. He was the first one on scene at around 11:53 p.m. when he got the call that there is chaos on the front lawns of a house party.
Can you please tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you currently do for a living?
Yep, so currently I'm employed by the Department of Homeland Security. I'm awaiting to go my training to become a special agent in about 2 months. I've been employed by them for about a month. Prior to that, I was a police officer for the Shelton Police Department for about 4 years.
And when you were a police officer, did you have any training that you had to go through to become a police officer?
Yes, I attended the Milford Police Academy for about 8 months in 2021.
I want to direct your attention to May 14th of 2022. Were you working that day for the Shelton Police Department?
Yes, I was working the evening shift, 4 p.m. to midnight.
And what were your responsibilities that night?
I was on the patrol division at the time, so I was responsible for responding to calls that were in my area that was assigned to me.
By the way, to put it into perspective, for those of you who may be watching this case for the first time, May 14th, 2022 was actually the exact moment when Judge Penny Ascarati was on break in the judicial conference. Amber Heard had just started testifying on my birthday, May 5th, and then May 6th was a dark day. There was no trial, and the 14th, I believe, was either like a Friday or a Saturday or something like that, and we were getting ready to resume trial the following Monday. I think it was like the 15th or 19th, something. I can't remember exactly. But that's literally, this is exactly during that time when Penny Ascarati in the Johnny Depp trial was taking a break. And right around this time is when I remember I made the decision to go to the Johnny Depp trial. That's crazy how time flies. That's right when this incident occurred.
Did you receive a 911 call that night to report to an area of Shelton?
Yes, I did.
And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so around 11:53 p.m. that night, dispatch reported that there was multiple stabbing victims at the address of 43 Laurel Glen Drive. I immediately responded to the area and arrived to the area of the scene in about 6 or 7 minutes.
Your Honor, I have reviewed these in advance.
Attorney Smith, you've had an opportunity to review Exhibits 1 through 9.
I have, Your Honor. I'll take a chance to
Thank
go
you.
through them one more time now that we've got the numbers on them.
Thank you.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, court will go ahead and accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 through 9.
If I may approach the witness, Your Honor.
You may.
Mr. Blackwell, I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 1 as a full exhibit. Can you tell ladies and gentlemen of the jury, where you responded to in State's Exhibit 1?
Yep, so when I initially was going to the call, I turned on to Adams Drive here, and I drove up to the intersection of Laurel Glen and Adams. When I approached Laurel Glen, I could see from my cruiser that there was a large group of juveniles. At the time, I approximated maybe 30 juveniles right in front of the yard of 43 Laurel Glen. And I was flagged down at the corner of Adams and Laurel by a small group of female juveniles who waved me down and started pointing me towards the direction of where the incident occurred. So I exited my cruiser at the time and began jogging over to the front yard of 43 Laurel Glen.
And just for the benefit of the record, is 43 Laurel Glen located where that red mark is in the middle of States 1?
Yes.
When you got to the scene, what was the scene like?
It was chaotic. As you can imagine, a large group of juveniles, pandemonium. I would describe it as that. That's best.
Around what time did you arrive there?
Right around midnight.
And what were the lighting conditions out that night?
It was dark, but I could clearly see, probably due to the mix of lights on the house as well as a ton of the juveniles had phones out, lights from the phones, as well as my own flashlight, but everything I could see pretty clearly.
I want to show you State's Exhibit 2. This is marked as a full exhibit.
By the way, real quick, shout out to the trial channel for providing this footage. They're excellent at cutting stuff up for us so that I have no idea how many hours and hours and hours they have saved, both me and you, the viewer, by slicing them up. So thank you so much for providing this edited content for us.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Again, is this 43 Laurel Glen where you arrived at 12 a.m. on the 15th of May of 22?
Yes.
And is this States 2 kind of show the area, what it was like, absent the individuals on the front lawn?
Yes.
And when you got to 43 Laurel Glen on the 15th, midnight on the 15th, where did you respond? Can you tell us where you responded to in States 2?
Yes. So when I walked up on foot, I responded to this specific area of the grass area to the right of the house if you're looking at the front of the residence. And that's where a large majority of the juveniles were located, as well as the 4 victims that I later identified.
I'm going to show you States 5. This is a daylight picture that was taken, obviously, at 43 Laurel Glen.
Yes.
Okay. And the area that you responded, you see this debris area here pointing to the middle section of the grassy area where there looks like there's some clothing items located just to the right of the basketball hoop, just below the red bush area here. Is that the area that you responded to?
Yes.
Okay. And when you responded there, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you encountered at that point in time.
Yep. So a few of the juveniles pointed me to the victims. So at first, within this area on the grass to the left, I identified 2 victims. One victim had a wound to his arm. He was responsive. He was standing. He was talking. Another victim was sitting upright on the grass, and I witnessed what appeared to be a stab wound to his torso area. He was still responsive at the time. Then I moved on to the right side of the grass area, where then I identified another victim with multiple stab wounds to his leg. At that time, I saw he was bleeding a lot out of the leg, and I applied a tourniquet to his left thigh area as high as I could. And then after applying that tourniquet, I moved on to the last victim that I identified as having a wound to his chest area and began providing medical attention as I could.
With regards to the third individual that you applied a tourniquet, can you tell the ladies and the gentlemen of the jury why you did that?
Yes, so for my training in the police academy, for our medical training, we're taught if you have a wound and are bleeding a lot from an appendage and you're able to place a tourniquet, that can assist in stopping the bleeding. So that's why I placed it as high as I could on his left leg.
As we're watching this, folks, by the way, because I'm watching this completely blind, reacting to it as the days and weeks will go by as we cover this case on my channel, I guess two questions kind of start creeping up. We know the jury acquitted. Again, it seems like, why are you putting the cart before the horse? We want to watch it blind. I disagree. I think it's going to be a lot more beneficial for everyone, including myself and you all, to know that the jury did end up acquitting of murder, but could not decide the lesser includeds of manslaughter and serious bodily harm. So what we have to examine as we listen to this testimony of all of these officers and all of these witnesses, why did they acquit specifically of murder? Because remember, murder is defined as the intentional killing of another. That's it. That's murder. Intent to kill another person. You have a dead body, you have intent to kill, that's murder. Is it possible that the murder was unintentional? That's why they were hung on the other lesser includeds. But they were all convinced unanimously, all 12 of them decided, we agree that he did not do this on purpose. It was an accident, unless, and this is the second question that we're going to be asking ourselves as we watch this trial, was the stabbing defensive? Was he defending himself from imminent physical harm to himself? It's basically like it was either me or him, ladies and gentlemen. It was either me or him. And Raul is going to testify. Mr. Valle is going to take the witness stand. So watch out for that. I can't wait for that testimony. It's going to be a little bit. The trial lasted for a few days. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, when the defendant takes the stand, that's going to be fireworks, folks. That's going to be fireworks. But as with any case, we got to build up to it. We can't just, shoot for the moon. And I mean, we could, I suppose, but then it wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be fun. We wouldn't enjoy the trial from start to finish with my commentary. But essentially, those are the two questions. Was it defensive? Or was it simply not intentional? It was an accident. Was it an accidental stabbing? Or was it a defensive, holy crap, either I'm going down or he's going down? I got to pick one. So that's going to be interesting to think about and ponder as we listen to the testimony and determine why did the jury acquit on murder and could not decide on the other lesser includeds.
Where most of the wounds I saw were to assist in stopping the bleeding.
And based on your training experience, based on what you saw the wounds to be like, what gave you that impression that the tourniquet was appropriate at that point in time?
First of all, because they were on an appendage and I witnessed a large amount of blood being lost from the wounds. So I was able to apply the tourniquet due to it being on the leg.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 7. That's the marked full exhibit. Again, this is the area that you responded to that night.
Yes.
Okay. And you see there's like a blue T-shirt here, what appears to be blue clothing, pointing to the middle of State 6.
Yes.
And can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is that the area that you responded to after you applied the tourniquet to the third individual? Is that where you found the fourth individual, around that area?
Yes, in that area.
And when you found the fourth individual in that area, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you observed when you got to that person.
Yes. So when I identified the fourth victim, I immediately recognized that he was blue in the face, which was indicating to me that he probably had lost a large amount of blood. And I did locate a wound to his chest area right near the heart, and did see a lot of blood coming from that wound. So at the time, I believe some other juveniles brought out rags or cloth or some sort, maybe a T-shirt, and me as well as them, we were assisting and just compressing the wound, just trying to stop the bleeding the best we could until EMS arrived.
And were you successful in stopping any of the bleeding before EMS arrived?
Partially, but For my observations, there was a lot of blood lost.
That sounds like Jimmy McGarth. That fourth one that he's describing, I think this is the one that ended up passing away. Jimmy McGrath. I'm sorry. I think I've been mispronouncing his name the whole time. Jimmy McGrath.
How long would you say took for EMS to arrive after your arrival?
Approximately 10 minutes.
When you got there, did anybody else from the Shelton Police Department arrive on scene prior to EMS's arrival?
I believe Officer Nemhard, or right around the same time. as
And
EMS.
at the point where you and Nebhard were on scene, what were your responsibilities at that point?
First of all, to just secure the scene, make sure we identified all the victims, number one, and also if there were still suspects in the area or on scene, as well as in the house, which we had not cleared yet. So just a lot of moving parts and identifying what was going on.
Just want to just go through these exhibits a little bit.
Stage 3, this is just another angle looking towards the street floral plan that night.
Does that reflect what the area looked like, minus maybe the headlights of the cruiser there?
Yes.
Okay. And again, stage 4, another angle of 43 Laurel Glen in the area where you responded to. Is this an accurate depiction of what that area looked like?
Yes.
And stage 6, again, this is just another perspective of that area on or about May 15th of 2022.
Yes.
And again, stage 8, a closer up perspective of the area where you responded to and found 4 individuals suffering from stab wounds that night, excuse me.
Yes.
And again, stage 9, this is the area from the left side of 43 Laurel Glen,
The area you responded to?
Yes.
Now, after police responded to the scene and EMS finally responded 10 minutes later, did your responsibilities change at the scene?
Not at the time. I still assisted EMS in providing medical attention.
Remember, as the first officer on scene, you have actually immense responsibility because you are the first arrival. He arrived before anybody else did. He was the first call. He was the first 911 dispatch officer when the first 911 call came in. We need assistance. There have been multiple stab victims and EMS, yada, yada, yada. Blackwell shows up. Officer Blackwell shows up and he's just like, he needs to do everything. He needs to secure the scene, make sure, is the perpetrator still around? Is there a weapon, somebody with a weapon that he needs to worry about? No? Okay, he moves on to the next thing. Victims. Do we have stab victims? We have stab victims. Okay, now he has to go and apply medical assistance to them. He's basically police, EMS, and fire all in one. You know what I mean? When he's the first one on scene. Now, eventually, if there's fire, obviously there's no need for a fire department to show up for this one, but EMS, by the time they arrive, he has to contain, and they're trained in this regard at the police academy, he has to contain the bleeding, he has to apply pressure to the wounds, make sure that these individuals who are literally dying before his eyes, or potentially could be dying, to save their lives. That is, it's not an easy feat, and respect to our first responders, most of them anyway, are, when they arrive on scene just to save people's lives, I guess. When they're not on the Brady list, right, Commissioner Cox? Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, with whatever cloth or rag I was provided, I kept compressing on the wound while EMS then began doing compressions, as well as with the assistance of a neighbor, I believe.
And during your time providing aid with EMS, how long would you say you stayed with the fourth individual at that point?
Approximately 10 minutes.
And at some point after 10 minutes, what happened after that?
EMS then transported him.
And did you follow EMS to where they were transporting him?
I did not. I stayed on scene.
Now, when the individuals were starting to be transported, withdrawn, at some point in time, were the other individuals who were suffering from wounds transported to the hospital? Do you have?
Yes.
And did your responsibilities at that point change once those individuals left 43 Laurel Glen?
Yes.
And what was your responsibility at that point?
At that point was to secure the rest of the scene and contain the large amount of juveniles that were there so then we can begin interviews.
And did you, in fact, begin interviews at the scene?
Yes, I did conduct a few interviews.
And the information that you received from those individuals, did you pass that information on to anybody?
Yes, it was all passed along to the Detective Bureau.
And did the Detective Bureau, based on your observations, respond to 43 Laurel Glen that night?
Yes.
And who responded to that scene at that time?
Detective Bango responded, as well as Lieutenant Kozlowski.
And at that point in time, in May 5th,
Kozlowski. That's a Russian name. Kozlovsky. Kozyol in Russian means goat, as a matter of fact. Fun fact for you. So Kozlovsky is like the goated one in a way. It's hard to translate.
15th of 2022, did you have body worn camera?
No,
Why not?
they were not issued to us yet.
Okay.
Could be
And
Ukrainian.
at some point in time later on in that year, was body worn camera a requirement of all police departments?
Yes,
Was it a requirement of the Shelton Police Department on or about July 1?
yes.
So do you know whether or not the Shelton Police Department in fact had a body camera at that point in time?
I believe they had one body camera issued.
And do you know what, if anything, that body camera was used for in relation to any investigation?
I believe it was used to record some of the interviews.
And do you know, in fact, whether or not that body camera was used in this case?
I believe so.
Now, how long would you say that you were on scene at 43 Laurel Glen conducting your witness interviews and securing the scene for?
Approximately three or 4 hours.
And at some point in time, did you leave the scene?
Yes, I went back to the headquarters to type my report.
And based on your witness interviews at 43 Laurel Glen, not telling us what they said, but were you able to identify or develop a suspect that you were looking for from those interviews?
Yes, we were able to develop a group of suspects that fled in a vehicle from the scene.
And were you able to develop and identify a vehicle that they were seen fleeing?
Yes, I believe it was identified as a Honda SUV.
And was that information passed along to the Detective Bureau as well?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have no further questions for this witness.
All right, that's the end of the direct examination of Officer Lonnie Blackwell, first on scene. In the next video, folks, we are going to discuss his cross-examination. This is usually, not always, but usually where the real juicy stuff happens. Here, we're getting a preview. There's about 30 juveniles. He arrives on scene. It is dark. It's around 11:53 when he gets called in. It's midnight by the time he arrives. There are 4 people with various amounts of wounds to their bodies. 2 juveniles seem to be mostly okay, just kind of superficial wounds. 1 juvenile needs a tourniquet applied because they're bleeding profusely from the leg. And the 4th one, presumably Jimmy McGrath, laying on the ground, bleeding with a wound near his heart, probably was the fatal wound, and he was all blue in the face and everything. I do apologize. I think I was calling him Jimmy McGrath, Jimmy McGarth. See, I did it again. Jimmy McGarth and Jimmy McGrath they're too close together. He was 17 at the time of his death. And I believe I also misspoke about Raul Valle. He was 16 at the time of the murder. And of course, he's being tried as an adult. He is 19 today. He's 19 years old. Now, as far as the new trial is concerned, Mr. Valle asked the court for some additional time to secure finances for a criminal defense lawyer. He has been given enough time until November the 17th when he's due back in court. And on that day, hopefully with his new counsel, they are going to be selecting a new date for his new trial. But we're going to continue this train moving with the testimony from the witnesses in trial number 1. You all have asked me to do it for a while now, and I'm finally doing it. Folks, I hope you all learned something. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel. I love every single one of you, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.